Welcome back, everyone. It is Saturday evening, and fingers crossed this post before Monday so that you guys can get a heads up about what to expect this full moon in Scorpio. That's going to be peaking at 9:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday and 12:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. The biggest thing that I really want to talk about with this is Pluto's part and everything that's happening right now. But first, let's talk about what I have channeled. So, given all of the astrological events that are happening, I want to keep this focused on the channeling more so than the specific astrological transit. I did do a May transit report, so if you want deeper clarification, go watch that one. But really right now, there's a lot kind of coming to a culmination with this Scorpio full moon from what has already been. And in so many different ways. But it's not just a culmination, it's also a foreshadowing of what comes next, which means this full moon is about manifestations, where we've been and how we've manifested where we're at now, as well as how we've manifested our set for what is coming next. So really, this full moon is about acceptance more than anything. But there's also underlying aspects of trust, of love, and mostly self-love. But there's a lot of messages about love and dynamics around love that are affecting the root chakra, trust, and love, both affecting our ability to manifest things like money and protection and safety in this time of massive transition. So while it is a culmination period of what we have basically created for ourselves up to this point, it's also a huge foreshadowing as to how to handle what comes next. So I would say right now, really focus on your alignment. Really focus on what needs to be healed and what you need to do to get into alignment for what comes next. Now, the challenging part about this is there's so much uncertainty underway here. There's so much change coming in. There's so much that's going to shift that is unexpected, and we're not fully aware of how it's going to happen. And that's really where radical acceptance is being called upon right now. You're being called to kind of just what is within your control. And the biggest challenge is with Pluto, there is this heightened illumination of things specifically in the airways. I would say in terms of, your imposter syndrome, your inner critic, all that stuff, whether you're psychic or not, you're affected by the energies around you. You're affected by the wounds that and the analysis and the logical thinking that everybody around you is going through. It's almost kind of like logic is kind of taking over in some areas because of how much we want to have some kind of grasp of control over what comes next. So one of the biggest things I'm seeing here is Virgo South Node playing a huge part in terms of what we need to release when it comes to assessing the situation at hand. So when it comes to whatever's coming in here, there is this need to slow down and ground into yourself, because what's coming up here, you're very close to achieving your goal. And assess the situation, Virgo. Many of you guys you have somehow manifested what is happening for you right now. So there's something that you have that is like literally underway, that is coming to a culmination period. And it feels like whatever that thing is, you are like either fighting it, you're either fighting how it's coming in, or you're fighting to get to the next thing before you fully get what you've already worked to manifest. Do you get what I'm saying? And so there's almost kind of like we can't skip a step here. So where do you need to have acceptance for whatever you have already manifested? It feels like once you come to that acceptance, you'll be able to move on and come to peace with whatever is next, right? And so the revelations that you're having right now, that's the other card that came out, revelations. A lot of you guys are going to be having some like big revelations or epiphany moments, where like aha moments, where it's like, oh, this is why this is happening. Oh, that's what that meant. Oh, this is what's really going on here. And all of this again relies on, it comes back to fate that is at play right now, and connectivity within that. So again, not just quantum entanglement, but also kind of like the timelines and all of that, yes, but like the airways. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of inner critic voices coming up here, a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of confusion, and usually that stuff comes up when there is shame or a lack of worthiness, sense of worthiness, needed to either manifest or to accept what is coming in for you. So some of you guys, like the biggest issues here rely in the root and the sacral chakras right now. And again, I am teaching a workshop. We're going to be doing energy healing. We're going to be breaking down issues like trust, safety, and financial security when it comes to the root chakra, manifesting, and also ancestral healing that is going on in a mass scale at the moment. So again, that class is coming up on the 17th. Get your tickets. But this is such an important time to focus on how can I come into acceptance with what is and what may or may not come next, and how can I trust myself, my guides, the universe, to be able to handle whatever that is. That's where the revelations are coming in. That's where the epiphanies, aha moments are going to be coming in to help you over this full moon. But if you're fighting what is, it's going to be hard for you to get those intuitive hits. It's going to be hard for you to get those messages in your channel. Why? Because the crown is going to be blocked from overthinking. So some of you guys, what I'm feeling in this collective is so much overthinking in the crown chakra, so much forced logic to try and come up with some kind of solution for things that might not have a solution because maybe you don't know what comes next. And again, there's events at play that are completely outside of our control for many of us. And so part of this is really coming to acceptance of the universe's plan and let go of what you cannot control in that. Now, with that being said, let's get into the little bits about your own manifestations here, because there are some messages about that. My apologies for the washing machine in the background. I hope it's not too loud for you guys. But it's funny the way it was hard for me to get that message out, just talking about like what's going on. It was the squeakiest when I was talking about what's going on collectively. And again, there's a lot of noise. And so that's kind of like the whole thing here. When it comes to your manifestations, there's something you need to accept about what has happened thus far. And for a lot of you guys, it has to do with the first house of self coming out in my astrology die, as well as Capricorn. How we logically worked while Pluto was in Capricorn based on a mixture of how we would, how our self-worth related to who we thought we were, but based on societal norms. Like there's something about Capricorn that is so conformist for the sake of efficiency and practicality that Pluto in Aquarius is shifting. So a lot of like things that we have manifested up to this point have airs of that energy left in it. So some of you guys, if you've been working on a manifestation for like, say, the past couple of years, or just the past year, or even 6 months, there is still that closure from the past of needing to be super logical, disciplined, efficient, practical, structured, and with that type of energy comes societal norms, right? And we're pushing out of that, but while we have collective events that are pushing us to go back in that box. The political climate, all of it, that's all I gotta say. So things that are trying to push you to go back in that box are coming up as you were pushing yourself out of it, or even have already come out of it but yet are still manifesting the reality of what comes after that box, right? Just because you're out of the box doesn't mean you have a whole new reality. You've still got to create it. And it all starts with your mind, right? So there is so much going on when it comes to this connectivity that has to do with the ways that your consciousness is built off of the past and what has already been, correct? So when it comes to this connectivity, whether you're psychic or telepathic or not, you're probably hearing lots of inner critic or imposter voices in your consciousness, whether it is someone else's or not. It's probably something that's coming up heavily for you right now. So that is where we have to kind of take a step back and look at what we have manifested thus far and ask ourselves, is this a result of a belief that I no longer actually contend with? Because do you actually want to continue to manifest a reality where you're not good enough, where you're not lovable, where things aren't going to happen fast enough, where things aren't possible or practical enough to happen in XYZ ways that you want them to, where things just can't exist because of all of these restrictions? Or do you want to manifest a reality where there are so many other possibilities and where that box no longer exists? But as soon as I shift into talking in more of Aquarius terms, it's almost like I felt like I was in this weird void. I don't know where the walls are. I don't know how to feel my way through this. I feel like I have a blindfold on. So some of you guys, that's literally your challenge right now, is because you're stepping into something you have never felt before. You don't know how to experience it. You don't know how to approach it. You don't know how to interact with it. So you're literally taking it one step at a time. That's where the radical acceptance is coming in. Are you following me now? So see how this, whatever's happening for you right now, assess it based on that realization, because it doesn't mean if something hasn't come in yet, it's bad. It doesn't mean if something is being deconstructed or falling apart that it's wrong or it's a problem or you need to fix it. Rather, come into more of acceptance of flowing into this void of the new reality, because you create it. So every movement you make, everything that you put out to the universe, including your thoughts and your words, are creating this new space that you're stepping into, this new timeline. And you have to come into acceptance with the fact that that is going to be an experiment. What does Aquarius love? Experiments. It is about innovation. It is about experimenting. It is about trying things, trial and error. You're gonna make mistakes. It's not gonna be perfect. But what is Virgo South Node trying to get us to release? Perfectionism and over analyzing, over practical, making something practical, too practical, right? To an overwhelming extent. So this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. It's okay if you don't have everything figured out yet, because you might not know what you actually want in this new timeline until it plays out a little bit more. So what you need to know is that there is going to be some huge manifestations coming in soon that many of you guys have maybe even forgotten about. You've been working for a really long time, you've lost hope on, but first there had to be some level of acceptance of the foreshadowing of how to work with what comes next, because there is going to be some uncertainty, there is going to be some confusing stuff, there is going to be some stuff that, you know, maybe past you wouldn't have liked, but maybe new you is learning how to approach in a new way and enjoy, right? So this is all about acceptance. Now, with that being said, that's where I'm feeling a shift in the third eye. Old you versus new you. Old views versus new views is what I'm getting. And we're still kind of working through that. The other challenge here being Venus energy. So again, inviting more of the feminine to take hold. But feminine energy is dark, It is cold. It is cool, rather. It is the negative space. It is the intuitive, the creative aspects of ourselves. It is what works in the dark and the night, right? So it's sometimes harder to grasp. And it's also sometimes less accepted. If you just look at it societally down, look at it from the outside, look at it from the physical, all the way broken down to the felt experience, right, of feminine energy. So I'm gonna take a second. They want me to slow down because there's something coming through here. So there's a lot of blockage in that solar plexus, and that's where our confidence lies, as well as our ability to take action and move forward. And what I'm getting the sense of is some of you guys are having a hard time feeling confident in your creative aspects, in your intuition and trust in your intuition, as well as feeling confident in your inner beauty, right? In your experience of the feminine energy. Because of a block in the solar plexus. Again, you know, this dealing with a lack of trust, this dealing with a lack of, you're not seeing the manifestations that you want yet. So then you don't trust, or you try to over control something, or there's pride creeping in saying this isn't good enough. I have to have it this way. So let go of control. Because what comes next, Jupiter moving into, that's the next thing they want me to talk about. Jupiter is moving into Cancer on June 9th. This is this foreshadowing of how we're going to access abundance in the near future. And that being love and money, as well as other things, right? Jupiter is about expansion. It's like it expands everything it touches. So right now it's in Gemini, lots and lots and lots and lots of thinking. Lots of curiosity, but also overthinking with that, with the events and the changes at play right now. It does have that effect on us. And then this effect of trying to let go of Capricorn, but not knowing how to connect with Aquarius, with Pluto's energy, right? So again, the whole thing here is how can we come back to the heart space, but the heart feels cut off for some of the collective. So now we're going to move into like the love talk that's coming through. But first, I just want to say, when it comes to the heart space, it is key for helping you work through that solar plexus block. The heart is ruled by air, and the solar plexus is ruled by fire. And if we don't have enough air, breath, we cannot create with the solar plexus, because the solar plexus runs on the mechanism of combustion. So fire and air is what creates combustion. And that's what runs that mechanism of taking action in the solar plexus. So if we can't work, if we can't get things to work, if we can't get going, there's probably some kind of block in that heart chakra, and air is key. Usually the best way through that is breathing, breath work. So some of you guys, you just need to take some time to do some breath work and come to peace. Now, when I breathe, I'm smelling something coming through the heart chakra. And some of you guys, there is, okay, this is a signifier of, interesting. What I'm picking up on that's blocking the heart space right now feels like a it smells like a porta-john. And this came through my channel recently, and it was like, it made me think of like a festival, like a music festival, like a place where you go to escape, but you know, obviously your waste is going into the porta-john. So there's something about waste products, the release of things, the release of energy, the energy that we no longer want to hold, right? Denser frequencies, the release of that, and us all kind of swimming in it right now collectively. Again, the connectivity card coming up, and the fates. So again, this is a signifier that a lot of the stuff that's blocking you, not just in your airways and the way you're thinking, but the airways in terms of the astral plane, is kind of like this collective, basically karma, things that are unfolding because of fate, things that have to happen to get us all to the next step, and things that we are quantum entangled with, and we kind of just have to feel, we have to accept that we're just part of the dominoes at play, right? And so there is a lot of that right now kind of being thrown around, and it's hard to get moving when you're like moving through that kind of sludge in the astral, in the ethers, right? There's just like so much dense energy is being purged collectively by everyone right now, and so there's this sense of like, I want to control this, I want to bring a solution, I want to fix this, or I want to clean this up, but you can't, because it's everywhere and everyone's purging all at one time. So they do want me to mention that mechanism at play right now, and that has been and probably will continue to be at play as long as the North Node is in Pisces until next summer. So just remember that is constantly going on, because Pisces is about quantum entanglement, but also there's a lot of fate that goes into Pisces because it is ruled by the 12th house of endings and completion, right? So again, lots of fate involved in that. And also Saturn, which is going to be moving into Aries on the 25th. So again, lots of completion from Saturn being in Pisces and completing its transit in Pisces in this month, in this next 2 weeks. And so again, fate playing a huge part in this, karma playing a huge part in this full moon in Scorpio. Now again, Scorpio rules the sex organs. So Scorpio, this is bringing up a lot around sensuality, sexuality, the sacral chakra, femininity, felt experience, and shared emotions, connections. So how that, again, this is going to bring the past up heavily because of the fate, because of the timelines that are closing, right? But also, what is an easy way out of what do humans often relate or reach for when they're dealing with heavy stress? Pleasure. So love is one way to access that pleasure. Love, fun, the things that we love to create, and sensuality, but also on more of a innate survival mechanism level, sex. So these things are coming up heavily right now, so just remember that is at play with any love messages that you are receiving right now, or any situations or dynamics in relationships that are happening right now. That is also kind of like an underlying thing that's happening. But really what I'm getting is this is calling a lot of you guys deeper into your feminine energy, into your feminine aspects. I've been working a lot with Lilith and Hecate, but specifically Lilith and autonomy, and working with the fire. And those of you at a crossroads when it comes to your life, Hecate to help you with your next moves, especially those of you diving into the metaphysical arts in any way, and especially feminine energy. So again, so much around what are you doing with this chaos? Maybe even Kali Ma is calling you. What are you doing with this chaos, this energy of chaos, and how are you creating with it? What are you working it into? How are you manifesting with this as you move forward? And how is this fulfilling to you? Because chaos can put us in fear. Chaos can create urgency. Chaos can drive us mad sometimes if we try to control it. But if we learn to let go and experience it and work with it and use it for fulfillment, for pleasure, chaos can be an extremely powerful tool for manifesting. So again, this moon being so big on manifestations right now, your first job is to come to a place of peace and acceptance with whatever you have manifested up until this point. And your second job and priority is to focus on what you want to align with when it comes to manifesting with whatever comes next. So coming to peace with the void, coming to peace with the darkness, coming to peace with the chaos that maybe you have created or the chaos that surrounds you, and making it more fun and fulfilling and pleasurable. So with that being said, I'm getting a okay from the guys. There's some claps from the guys. That's exactly what they wanted me to talk to you guys about. And I just want to remind all of you that I will be having a root chakra masterclass and healing workshop on the 17th, this coming Saturday. And all the tickets and information are in the link tree in my bio, as well as my next class, root and throat chakra alignment workshop, healing and masterclass, are going to be on the 25th when Saturn moves into Aries. And again, all of that information, as well as the early bird ticket pricing, is up in the link tree in my bio. If you have any questions, email me, intuitivemindgeek@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care and happy manifesting.